Today, I want to invite you into the future, onto the International Lunar Science Station of the year 2046. Imagine, a base on the moon has already been operating for 10 years, and the young scientist has just arrived for his very first tour of the station. Let's walk through this lunar base together and see how everything is arranged. Humans are famously bad at predictions, and yet, in this project, we'll try to look beyond the horizon and imagine what the conquest of space might look like in the coming decades. Most importantly, what incredible challenges and discoveries await those brave enough to expand our reach into the cosmos? So, get comfortable. We've prepared a few amazing stories for you, and I can't wait to share them. Let's go. So, why do we even need a base on the moon? Well, the moon isn't just a dusty rock. It's a treasure trove of resources. The International Lunar Science Station has been operating for a decade now. Its main purpose is the extraction of a special lunar rock called anorthite, one of the key minerals found in lunar soil, regolith. Heat it up properly, and you can extract three crucial products: aluminum, silicon, and oxygen. Why do we need them? Aluminum is the best construction material you could ask for. On the moon, gravity is only about 17% of Earth's, so structural strength requirements are much lower. Here on the station, aluminum is used for everything: load-bearing structures, floors, even the things that on Earth would be made from steel, wood, or plastic. Pick up a cup in the cafeteria. It's metal, because on the moon, that's simply how things work. Silicon is the second gift of anorthite. It's used to make glass and electronics. And yes, the most advanced microchips are manufactured right here on the moon and shipped back to Earth. And the third component, oxygen, is literally as essential as air. It's needed for breathable atmosphere, for making water, and even as an oxidizer for rocket fuel. The result? The moon supplies itself with everything it needs instead of dragging supplies from Earth. Energy for all this comes from nuclear reactors. Solar panels don't do much good here. The lunar night lasts 2 weeks. So the reactors keep the base powered around the clock. Plug in a kettle or a massive drill. It makes no difference. So the station is a mine, a factory, and a research lab all in one. But what is it like to live there? Let's follow our protagonist, Engineer Michael, who has just landed on the moon. Michael steps out of the lander expecting shiny glass domes under the stars. Instead, he's immediately led underground. All living and working areas are buried deep below. Why hide in a lunar burrow? Simple. First, radiation. The moon has no thick atmosphere or magnetic field, so cosmic rays constantly bombard the surface. A few meters of rock overhead make excellent shielding. Otherwise, in a year you'd absorb enough radiation to end your career, and possibly more. Second, temperature. A lunar day and night each last 2 weeks, and surface temperatures swing from 248 degrees Fahrenheit under the sun to negative 238 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. Underground, everything stays warm and stable. So the lunar base is essentially a bunker, cozy and safe. Well, as safe as anything can be on the moon. Michael quickly notices that everyone walks slowly. Running in low-gravity corridors is a bad idea. You trip, and you'll fly head-first into the ceiling. Not kidding. And in space, haste is never your friend. The corridors are short, and every door is an airlock. All major passages are sealed and can close automatically. Why? Because if one module suddenly depressurizes, say a clumsy worker drills through a wall, the airlocks shut and isolate the damaged section so the station doesn't lose all its air. So each time Michael opens a door, the pressure equalizes with a soft hiss before he can step through. Then the instructor explains the most unusual thing about the station's atmosphere. The air is pure oxygen, 100%. Why? Because bringing nitrogen from Earth just to dilute the air is expensive, and unnecessary at these volumes. To let people breathe pure oxygen safely, the station keeps the pressure low, about a third of Earth's, and that leads to funny consequences. For example, water here boils at 144 degrees Fahrenheit instead of 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Meaning, on the moon, boiling water isn't really boiling by Earth standards. Michael wanted a hot cup of tea after landing, but no luck. Tea and coffee only come from machines. Boiling water in a kettle simply doesn't work here. He'll have to get used to the taste of instant drinks. But something far more dangerous than bad coffee lurks here: fire. In pure oxygen, even a tiny spark can cause a devastating blaze. History already taught this lesson. On January 27, 1967, during the Apollo 1 test, a fire suddenly broke out inside a capsule also filled with pure oxygen. The flames engulfed the cabin instantly, and all 3 astronauts died. On the lunar base, this danger is taken very seriously. Open flames are absolutely forbidden. No cigarettes, no lighters, no birthday candles. And actually, no cakes either. You can't bake them properly without normal pressure. Any device that can spark or overheat is carefully monitored, and fire extinguishers are everywhere. Charging phones can only be done in a special fire-safe locker where each gadget sits like in a bank vault, just in case the battery decides to ignite. Now let's follow Michael to see how the moon deals with garbage. Yes, garbage. Very down-to-earth stuff. You'd think on the moon there are no household wastes, but humans are humans. Trash piles up, wrappers, packaging, leftover food. And you can't throw anything into vacuum. First, it's not ecological. Second, you'd end up stepping on your own trash later. So one of the most important facilities is the recycling plant. Michael is taken into a workshop that smells like melted plastic. Everything the crew throws away is recycled into something useful. Food scraps go into compost for growing plants. Metal is melted down. Plastic is a treasure. On 3D printers, it becomes new tools, parts, anything the station needs. A used water bottle can be ground up and turned into a handle for an instrument or a flashlight casing. Up here, you learn to value every little thing. A torn spacesuit gets patched. A broken laptop is repaired using recycled components. Autonomy is survival. Cargo ships from Earth arrive rarely, and work must go on today. Finally, Michael is brought to the airlocks, the gateways to the surface. Some crew members are suiting up, others are returning from outside. The instructor explains, spacewalks are serious business. You can't just stroll across the lunar landscape whenever you want. Each EVA is scheduled in advance. Why? Because a spacesuit is expensive and has a limited lifespan. After every use, it's inspected. Seals, joints, systems. Microcracks or wear can be fatal. A top-tier suit lasts only about 30 sorties before it must be rebuilt in the workshop. That's costly, so unnecessary walks are avoided. Which means every minute outside is literally worth its weight in gold. Michael is surprised. He thought lunar explorers could walk around freely. In reality, an EVA is an event, almost a privilege, requiring justification, scheduling, and careful equipment handling. But what scares Michael most is the dust. The instructor points at the gray coating on a returning suit. You'd think, dust is dust, just brush it off. But lunar dust is special, fine as powder and sharp as a blade. Every grain is jagged because nothing smooths it here. No wind, no water. Worse, it gets electrostatically charged in sunlight and sticks to everything. Apollo crews struggled with it. Dust clogged joints, damaged tools, and even got inside their modules. Neil Armstrong said lunar dust smells like burnt gunpowder. But the smell is nothing. The real danger is health. Particles are so tiny they can enter the lungs, even the bloodstream. Studies show they can damage cells and even alter DNA. So strict protocols apply. After every EVA, suits undergo a full cleaning. Crew members working with them get weekly medical checks, airway scans, tests for symptoms of lunar cough. Michael watches as a returning astronaut steps into a special chamber where robots blast off the gray powder with jets of air. Only after this shower are they allowed into the living zone. Cosmic romance? Nowhere to be found, literally and figuratively. Life away from Earth brings new problems you never think about while sitting comfortably on your couch. At the end, the instructor brings Michael to a room that looks like a gym. Treadmills, machines, dumbbells. Why a gym on the moon? Not for beach season. There's no summer here. In low gravity, the human body deteriorates fast. The moon's pull is 6 times weaker than Earth's. You feel only about 15% of your weight. If you weigh 80 kilos on Earth, here you feel like 12. Sounds great at first, but your muscles disagree. They stop working and start wasting away. So 2 hours of daily exercise is mandatory. Running, strength training, special weighted suits. Otherwise, after a year-long mission, you'll return to Earth a lunar skeleton. Michael laughs at the jokes but understands they're true. Like it or not, he'll have to train hard. And that's it. The briefing is over. Life on the moon turns out to be tough. Constant rules, safety protocols, workouts. But it's also humanity's next step. The lunar station is a training ground for greater journeys, where we learn to live off Earth, solve new engineering challenges, and unite different countries. It pushes science forward, brings people together, and gives humanity a backup home, just in case. The moon isn't a useless wasteland. It's our next real home, harsh, dusty, unwelcoming, but ours. We will settle there, even if under the surface. We'll live, work, and mine resources, and more. Maybe in a couple of decades, even you, watching this right now, will be able to take a vacation on the moon. And on that optimistic note, we'll wrap up for today. Stay with us. Many more cosmic stories lie ahead.